When Bad Mothers Happen, published in January 2024, is set in South Africa, Port Elizabeth primarily. It evolves around a family of 5: mother, father, a son, and 2 daughters. The real-world George match this description. Abigail, now approaching middle age, lives in Port Elizabeth with her elderly parents. Her older brother lives in the same house, at least periodically. Abigail's sister lives and works abroad. The father-daughter relationship is vaguely described in the book. Abigail actually has a close and warm relationship with her father, Ambrose Cato George, who has suffered from a severe, incurable mood disorder since early childhood. Against All Odds, a memoir, also published in January 2024, tells us all we need to know about this scholar, teacher, headmaster, political dissident, and author. His mental health condition has not prevented him from leading a fruitful and productive life. Like the book hints, Ambrose actually passed on his mental illness to his daughter Abigail, who has been suffering from severe depression and uncontrollable mood swings since an early age. The book depicts the mother, Gertrude, as a bit of a monster: selfish, cold, calculating, uncaring, unfair, unpredictable, untamed. In real life, living with a depressive husband and a depressive daughter must have been very hard for Gerda, Ambrose's wife, and Abigail's mother. In his book, Ambrose never has a bad word to say about his wife, and he concedes that normal interactions may be impossible in their household due to the mental illness. Having put things into perspective, let us focus on the story. Jean, the protagonist, is periodically hospitalized for depression in her teens and has survived 1 suicide attempt. Prior to becoming a patient, she and her family visited her father, who received psychiatric treatment for similar problems. Gertrude is sick and tired of her husband and youngest daughter Jean, whom she does not love. Gertrude likes chatting and drinking with her elder daughter, and seemingly has no major issues with her son Wolf. As a result, Jean is deeply jealous and feels marginalized, pushed out. Abigail George describes vividly how the husband and all 3 children are tyrannized and mentally imprisoned by Gertrude, who is manipulative, controlling, and prone to rages. She can switch from warm to cold as often and as quickly as she wants. She cooks their meals and sees to the children's basic needs, but leaves Abigail to fend for herself. Abigail's father is too weak and preoccupied with his own problems to be of much support. She craves her mother's love, but only receives rejection. Abigail is bullied in high school and eventually drops out. She runs away to Johannesburg, gets into film school, and pursues unhealthy sexual relationships with older men. After returning to her family, nothing concrete really happens. Instead, Jean, now a writer, starts living among famous poets in her imagination. She is knowledgeable of famous, suicidal female poets. When Bad Mothers Happen contains striking poetic prose, which is quotable and worthy of reading over and over because of the wit and humor. The book has interesting examples of how a wife can humiliate her vulnerable husband, who then in turn causes problems for his vulnerable daughter, who does something self-destructive. There is some discernible pain for the reader. Likewise, Gertrude strikes Abigail's sister for apparently no good reason at all, and there are some insinuations of sexually inappropriate behavior towards Abigail. People affected by mood disorders could learn from Jean's experiences and reflections. Her outlook is somewhat cynical and sarcastic, but she found a constructive path forward by becoming a tell-it-all, artistic author and poet. Anyone affected by what Abigail George describes as abandonment issues may be touched by her heart-wrenching cries. "Please love me, Mummy. Why didn't you love me, Mummy?"